it is the spiritual side of Islam. And even if you go to normal Muslims, I'm afraid you won't have everyone following it, because we're going through new fashions that Muslims have become materialist. And you might think all our prayers and motions, bowing and so on, it's very outward. But Islam has got a very deep inner side as well, the spiritual side, So that's the inner side. And of course, so have other faiths as well. Other religions also have that. So it's something in common with all of humanity. So out of that, for the spiritual side, there's prayers, and the prayers, as you may know, every stage, we've got glorifications of God, and then thanking Him, asking forgiveness, and all that going on. So in different positions, we say different prayers, and those are more regimented and fixed. But the zikr gatherings is halqa zikrullah. Zikrullah would mean the remembrance, or another word would be invocation, invoking on Him and thanking Him. And that one, this one is a public one, so it's a public and a jamaat, that means in gathering. But once you're on the Sufi path, then you do zikr daily, privately, and often it's silent. So there's not all the vocal, it's silent, you're doing silent. So you see our rosary, the counting, so you might have hundreds of these, 500 of that, and 1,000 of that, so we go through them silently, that you see. Especially our order, which is a Naqshbandi order, is a silent, rather than jumping around, or different orders that, the dancing dervishes, you've heard, they go dancing like that. So our order is a silent order. And it's amongst the oldest order, really. So the zikr is a public one, like I said, and I'll try to give some of the meanings there, and some of the names we will do in translation, and it's much more flexible. And again, so the aim is to polish your heart. So you might say that the long-term aim is to polish your heart, to become a better person. And it's easy to become a better person socially and outwardly. And when you get home, you're just as angry as ever. So we Muslims, or the spiritual way, knows that, that's cheating. That's not a real person. A real man is man if an outside person bothers him and he's very polite. But when he comes home and somebody bothers him in private, or some inferior, bothers him, and he can keep his calm genuinely. Because, for example, if you're a soldier in the army and the general shouts at you, you have to take it. You stand there and say, yes, sir, Or if your wife, if she's going to dominate you and she's shouting at you, you say, yes, madam. But inside you're angry. So that means you're only half-baked. You have to really be cooked properly, so you're genuinely not angry, when the difficult situation arises. And if some real burden in life appears, which it always will, that is life, then you can carry it calmly and with composure, and not to have fear of what's going to happen tomorrow, or what are they going to do. Because we Muslims believe in the hereafter, we believe in life after death, again like many other faiths, then we will, Muslim would know, especially one on the spiritual path, he says, the worst that can happen is I can be killed. But after dying, I'll be alive again. So if there's any justice, if he has to repay me, he'll repay me then. Whether it's money, or stealing, or cruelty. And Islam is so sharp that he says if two rams had butted, one ram was bullying the other ram, on the day of judgment, God will bring them alive. Because normally animals won't be brought alive, And the other ram will take his revenge, and then they will disappear again. That's like a teaching story. That's from the Prophet's teaching. So he says, don't think you can do injustice and escape, because you will pay. And I think most faiths will teach that. in one way or another. So, but to put that into this life, that is a challenge of Sufism. to live like that before death, subhanallah. That is a big challenge. I can tell you it's a big challenge. And but that is what the people on the spiritual path, they try and achieve. So the zikr itself is again, because we know it and we are used to it, many beautiful names of God, and then formulas, and then some short chapters from the Quran. And after that, we will to La ilaha illallah. I think you know the meanings. I've given some, but La ilaha means there's no God but Allah. But as you know very well, that Allah is the name of God. It's not a different God. It's not a God of the Muslims or the Arabs or the Pakistanis or Indians. It is God Himself. So it's the Arabic name. We say that's His strong name. You can call Him Rahman. That also means the most merciful. You can call Him any of the names, I would say, the Christian names or the Hindu names. Because we say traditionally there are 99 names of God, but really, our masters have taught us the names of God are unlimited, like Allah Himself. We don't know how many names He's got, millions. So when we say La ilaha illallah, we means there's no reality except Allah in the end. You see, well, if you're a pagan, I don't think you can disagree either. There's no reality except the real one. So no truth except the absolute truth. So no life except the real living one. So subhanAllah, it can be explained. And the second part is a part which differentiates. And then we say Muhammad Rasulullah. That means Muhammad is the messenger of Allah. So he's got a message. So the teaching. So that's where you might say, okay. The first part, I don't think anyone in humanity, except for the atheists who think, atheists, I don't think they're very clever. Because if you told them this computer just dropped from the sky, they'll think I'm a fool. But if there's a whole universe dropped from nowhere, they believe that. I think, I find that inconceivable. I don't know how, do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. But, by the way, in the Inter-Faith, do you have atheists as members?
We're looking for one.
Shall be one. Want to be one.
Zoom, sorry, I was just going to show them we've got different members. You're looking for an atheist group, yeah? Walaikum salam. Welcome. They are looking for an atheist member of Inter-Faith. Well, that's good. That's good. Because there's a new term that people of no faith. That again is a strange one. If you look at my language, which is Urdu or Punjabi, is the same, Hindi. You say person of no faith is called Be-Iman. And Imandar means faithful. Be-Iman also means a crook, by the way. Because he's got no faith, you can't trust him at all. You can't trust him even 1 pound, So it means man without faith also means a man without honor. It's a true honor. It's a good translation of Hindi. So ye shakhs be-iman hai. So Eastern people will laugh at that term, people of no faith. Sorry, I don't know. I hope they're not people of no faith here. I think they are. So
my teacher used to say, who do you trust the least? A politician and the weatherman. And then he said, as a druid, I'm both.
Yeah, we'll have to talk about that. That's too deep. Yeah. So that's the short introduction to the Zikr gathering, and whenever we have hold these, everyone is welcome. So
I've got a question.
Yes,
Like
please.
Shia and Sunni.
Yeah.
So what is this? What are you doing?
Okay.
You're singing all that.
Yes, yeah, I know what he's saying.
Sufi.
It's Sufi. Yeah.
How does Sufi fit in there?
Yeah, because Islam has got branches, like most faiths. So the main branches are Shia and Sunni, and we are Sunni. About 85% of the Muslims everywhere are Sunni, and Shia are a big majority, but 15% or less. But this Sufism, which is the spiritual side, it exists in both. Really, it transcends both in a way. of course, their basic. I've been to Iran, which is Shia, and I've done Zikr gatherings there, and it was very similar to ours, strangely enough. They've got respect, and they're generous, and they're kind, and not arrogant. But that's the other thing which Sufism teaches, socially. That's why they're once they achieve something, then they're the best people, really. They're balanced, they're not prejudiced, they're not judgmental. They'll kiss your hand, means they're respecting you, you see. They don't stand up like that, they stand humbly, So Shias also have Tariqah, as we call it, or Sufis, and Sunnis also, yes.
Thank you.
But I have to give you the bad news is that, because we are practical, amongst Muslims, they are the so-called fundamentalists, and they are a real trouble to everybody. Yeah. So they are the ones who would not like what we are doing. They wouldn't like it. Would you believe that? So Islam has become so wide now, so you can't judge by what one Muslim is doing, and then you think the other will be the same. No. And they'll say, no, this is wrong, and they give. One reason they give is all the Sufism was copied from the Hindus. How is that? Hindus have got deep spirituality, and then they say, no, you copied it from the Christians. Some say that, that. So from the previous nations, as we call it. I have to say that because it's well known. So, and there are some countries are Wahhabi type. You would have heard the word Wahhabi. We don't like to split Muslims, but in the practical aspect, they are there, and they give everyone else a trouble. Whereas a Sufi, we don't call ourselves Sufi, by the way, because Sufi, the original word Sufi is a very high term. Is that not, Shaykh? When he said, yes, Sufi Shaykh, this man is a Sufi, means he's a very highly attained saint. That was the original meaning, He's a very highly attained saint. So I won't go and say I'm a Sufi, because that means I'm putting myself high, you see. Whereas you can say Darwish, Darwish. Darwish means somebody is searching and roaming around the world,
Is Wahhabi also a branch or no? How does
A Wahhabi, it has become a branch, but they don't say it's a branch. The Wahhabis never say I'm a Wahhabi.
Are they distinctly different from Shia and Sunni?
The Wahhabis, if you saw one, you wouldn't know necessarily, but I would know. I could smell him, but you wouldn't know. Because they even wear turbans and think they've got longer beards than me, but their attitude will be different. You'll know it from the vibes you get from it.
Actually, these differences are
But we'll talk more.
jurisdiction. They're about laws.